Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Transport, does he agree with Auckland Mayor John Banks in an opinion piece supporting the CBD rail loop that rail is the most effective and efficient way for providing for Auckland's growth and travel demand?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I almost agree with His Worship the Mayor. I would insert the words "one of," i.e. rail is one of the most effective and efficient ways of providing for Auckland's growth and travel demand. My strong view is that the way we are going to solve Auckland's transport problems as that city grows is to have all the modes, road, rail, ferry, etc., operating effectively and efficiently.
Gareth Hughes.
Supplementary. When does the Minister expect the CBD rail loop to be completed, given that rail patronage in Auckland has increased close to 100% in the last 5 years and Britomart is nearing capacity?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a bit old-fashioned in this regard, and I like to know a number of things before embarking on billion-dollar-plus projects. The first one would be a business case as to the likely operation of that CBD rail link. And at the moment, a business case is being prepared for all stakeholders. The study team is working with a rail tunnel route alignment and station locations. They are undertaking costing work, assessing the phasing and timing of possible constructions, and analysis of the benefits, traditional transport benefits and wider benefits, and analysis of alternatives. These are all important things in which you do before embarking on such a project.
Gareth Hughes.
Can the Minister confirm that according to the New Zealand Transport Agency figures, last year traffic volumes on state highways in the Auckland region, including the Harbour Bridge, fell to 2004 levels, and isn't it time to fast-track the CBD rail loop?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, I can't confirm those numbers for the member today, although they are at very high levels, and I would point out to the member that they're about 85% of trips to and from work each day, according to the last census in Auckland, is by road, and about 1% by rail. I'm confident rail has grown since then, but I still think it's got a fair way to go before it'll match the highway contribution.
Gareth Hughes.
Does the Minister deny that according to the Auckland Regional Transport Authority, nearly 60% of people currently travel to the Auckland CBD do so by public transport, and this percentage is projected to increase significantly over the next few decades?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, as I've said, I think all of the modes, public transport, the road, the rail, all have a contribution to make, but it's important that we consider each project carefully before we make the decision. The government is currently investing $1.6 billion in Auckland's commuter rail network.
Keith Locke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Minister prioritise the Auckland CBD rail loop at least as high as the Puhoi to Wellsford motorway, given that it will move more people for the same money, free up Auckland state highways and dramatically improve productivity in New Zealand's largest city?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not quite sure how the member makes those assertions if he has no idea how much it's going to cost and how many people are actually going to travel on it. But be that as it may, I would point out that the merits of bringing a three-lane highway to a screaming halt at Puhoi in a one-lane road in a paddock somewhere just out of Puhoi is the sort of transport policy that the previous government came up with, not the current one.
The Honourable Darren Hughes.
Tēnā koe e te rangatira tōku pātai ki te minita. Further to Mr Locke's question, how many Aucklanders does he believe would use a CBD rail loop every day compared to the number of Aucklanders who would use his holiday highway between Puhoi to Wellsford?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, I can tell you exactly how many people travel on the road north of Puhoi today. The conjecture as to who would use a CBD rail loop is premature because, again, the studies have not been completed. And not only do you have to look at the projected revenues, the projected passenger numbers, you also have to have an operating budget. All these things that the previous government didn't trouble themselves too much when spending taxpayers' money.
Gareth Hughes.
Given that the project's been on the cards since the 1920s and previous studies have shown the benefits significantly outweigh the costs, when will the Minister commit to fast-tracking the funding for the project as a project of rail of national significance and listen to the united voice of Auckland community leaders that it's the smartest way to deliver real transport progress and the economic engine of the country?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, in my recent experience of the united voice of community leaders around Auckland, that generally means that when they expect the taxpayers to front up and pay for something, to be fair, and that seems to be the case in this instance as well. It's important that the CBD rail link study is completed, that all the aspects of the project are assessed and costs are assessed and benefits are assessed, and frankly we need a proper operating budget for the rail network into the future, which the previous government did not bequeath to the current one, and we need all those things before we make those decisions.
Question number 10, Sandra Gowdy.